This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball EXCEL Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the Fall League, 1978 to 81. 8 years into the future from where we left off in the Summer League. We got a series tonight between the Oakland A's and the California Angels. Of course, historically, we would know a lot has happened with the Oakland A's by the late 70s, from the early 70s. Their owner sold off a lot of their players, and they became terrible until Billy Martin showed up in 1980 and brought respectability back to the Bay Area. As far as the Angels, they didn't do really, they wasted the whole decade until 1979 when they finally won the West. And they did it again in 1982. So they've got some nice little studs on this team. Oakland and California, in the Hotel California, as Mr. Berman used to say way back in the day. Let's look at the standings right now. In the West, it's kind of a blah division this year. It's open, I guess, for somebody to come in and conquer, should they put their mind up to it. The American League West, here we go. Oh, the Rangers are 12-9. The Mariners are a half game back. The Angels are a disappointing 9-11. They're supposed to be the class of this division. They actually have one playoff roster in the 4-year timeline of 1979. Kansas City would have been in 78, but Kansas City's in their own division. 1980, who won the West? It was Kansas City again. They're there. In 1981 was the year of the strike, and Oakland had a say in that, as did Kansas City. So, yeah, not a lot of production thus far. And in the series we are playing, we'll show you what's going on. Game 1, opening up in Oakland. Nolan Ryan always had his problems with the A's taking walks against him, against Steve McCatty. This game, it was a 2-run homer by Brian Downing in the first, and that was it. The A's had RBI single by Page, a solo homer Dwayne Murphy, RBI single by Harry Chapis, an RBI single by Gene Tennis, who stuck around longer than he should have. He probably should have been with San Diego by now, but the A's, that's the one guy they held on to from the Dynasty era. And an RBI single by Tennis again, a 5-2 victory for Oakland in Game 1, a team that has not won very often in this timeline. But they beat their rival. Game number 2, kind of the same thing. Frank Tanana, post his injury problem, hurt his arm and came back with less velocity. A nice lefty, though, had a nice long career. Rick Langford, known for those consecutive complete games in 1980. And Langford actually comes out now. He doesn't pitch to the ninth. They take him out and save his arm, believe it or not. The A's get an RBI double by Paul Dade, a 2-run double by Tony Armas, a solo homer by Phil Garner, RBI single by Mitchell Page, and then Dyer Miller comes in relief. They bat around. It's an easy win for Oakland, 8-2. It had been very difficult for Oakland prior to the Angels coming to town, and the lackluster Angels are losing more lust. They're lustering. They're lacking more luster, if you can even imagine that. They just seem disinterested. And now we have a Game 3, and the A's are looking for a sweep on the road in Game 3. You're not going to believe who the starting pitchers are, folks. For the Oakland A's, their number 3 starter, yes, it is Wilbur Wood. 1978 Wilbur Wood. The story goes that his final year with the White Sox, he was 10-10 with a 5.20 ERA. He was pretty bad, actually. But Oakland, as bad as they were, said, "Hey, Wilbur, we don't have any left-handed pitchers in our organization. Can you come here and help us out for a year?" And so they brought Wilbur Wood out of retirement to pitch for the Oakland A's. How about that? And the California Angels will send Paul Hartzell, a promising pitcher, was in the Twin system and the Angel system. Both teams thought highly of him, but it just didn't work out. He didn't have a long career. But he has a nice card here with his 78 card with the Angels, a 3.44 ERA and a starter rate. Let's get started from Anaheim. Angels have to avoid a sweep with a victory. Leading off, it is Ricky Henderson. Indeed, Ricky Henderson's 1980 card. 1-7, double one, base hit. Triple A stealer, Brian Downing, plus one arm. What do you think's happening, folks? That's a stolen base. Now, you steal third? No. With one out, I might. Dwayne Murphy with a runner at second, nobody out. The pitch to Dwayne, 54. Off of Hartzell, homer 1-10 double. That is gone, and your Oaktown A's are up 2-0. Tony Harmless, 111, flies to left. Mitchell Page, your 77 American League Rookie of the Year. 3-6 is a walk. Gene Tennis, 39 is a walk. 2 on, 1 out for Wayne Gross. 33 pops to first, and with 2 outs, it's Phil Garner. Garner was with Oakland, and he went to Pittsburgh to help them win the '79 World Series, but in this iteration, the A's held on to him. He held on to Tennis, they held on to Phil Garner. And they're still bad. 6-12 rolls to the pitcher. 2-0, bottom of the first inning. Freddie Podtek playing shortstop for the Angels, leading off. 2-12, this guy's the center. Brian Downing, his magnificent 1979 year. 2-3 rolls to third. And Ron Jackson, also a great year in 1978, 297, 54. This guy's the center. Angels have some lumber in this lineup, so expect them to make a big spurt at a certain point in the series. Top of the second inning, though, it's Phil Mankowski. 1-7. Let's take a look. I haven't looked at the card yet. At Mr. Phil Mankowski was with the Tigers in this era as a left-handed hitting third baseman. In a platoon situation, about a 260-70 hitter. Not much defense, but in a platoon he's effective. He rolls a 1-7 homer, 1-5 fly ball. And this is Oakland's world right now. He gets it. And it's 3-0. Harry Chapis, the diminutive shortstop. We got some little shortstops today. We got Podtek and Chapis facing off against each other. Of course, Chapis was also on the White Sox. He came along with Wilbur Wood. I think Wilbur packed him in his suitcase on the trip to Oakland from Chicago. Harry Chapis, 66, is a base hit. Ricky Henderson, 59, skies are right. Dwayne Murphy, 66, base hit to left field. You go coast to coast with Chapis with a big lead. 12 runner, only if the arm invites you, and it might. Where was the hit at 2? It was left field, is Sample, the plus 1 arm, but no. Not enough of an invitation to go to third on the single. 2 on, 1 out, Tony Armas. 57, fly ball left, would have been a sac fly. One of the things that held Chapis up is that you have to be a 14 or better to go first to third, and his result would have only added up to 13. It's one of my home field advantages I built into my game. So that's kind of the reason why the third base coach put the brakes on Chapis. So with first and second and 2 outs, it's Mitchell Page. 58, bounces to short. This is Podtek, a 3 at short. What is the E rating? Oh, he's a 2E40, my bad. He's a 2E40. You gotta go put a 2 in there then. And he's out. Thought he was a 3. He was a 3 and... He was a 2 and 78. By the 1980, turns into a 3. So we figure that one out now. 3-0 Oakland, though. Bottom of the second. It's Don Baylor. Your 1979 American League most valuable player, Baylor. 5'10" is a K. Carney Lansford, 1-4 left. And Bobby Grich, 37, ball 4. Your tie run is Billy Sample, 67 is a ball 4. 2 on, 2 outs for Disco Dan Ford. Disco, 47 off of the woods, single 1-19 gets it. Loads him with 2 outs for number 9 hitter. Left-handed hitting middle infielder Tim Johnson, DHing today, former Brewer farmhand. Pitch to Tim Johnson. 2-3 is a roller to the mound. Oh boy. Not looking good for the Anglers early. Gene Tennis, 65, pops to first. Wayne Gross, 44, center X. Disco Dan Ford's a 2E9 in center. He makes the catch. Phil Garner, 2-9, rolls to short. Bottom of the third. High-tech, Pie-tech, Freddie Podtek, Philippe, 412, skies the center field. Brian Downing Street, 311, hit by the pitch, he's on for Ron Jackson. 66, Ron Jackson, double 108 is a double, second and third. With a 3-run lead, you're going to play it back for Baylor. Concede a run from third on a fly ball or ground ball. 47, Wilbur Woods, single 1 to 19, base hit. Now, you like to protect Wilbur a little bit. He's not a very good pitcher, like I mentioned, at this point of his career. Get him into the 5th inning, hopefully, with a chance at a win. But we got a 3-1 game. We got runners in the corners with 1 out. And Carney Lansford is your batter. Baylor must be held on. He's an ace stealer. Gene Tennis is a -1 arm. They're going to keep him held at first for now. Carney Lansford, 44, third X. And this is Mankowski. We saw his card earlier. The defense was not good. It's a 40-14 at third base. That's a single dot. It is now 3-2 with 2 on and 1 out for Bobby Grich. 1-7 Bobby Grich K's. And with 2 outs, it's Bill Sample. 6-11 off of the wood. Left X. But good defense out there. Dwayne Murphy at 2E6. Eventually he'll be a 1. But he makes the catch. We have the 1979 Dwayne Murphy card. I think it's his rookie year. He's only at 2, but of course he'll be one of the better defensive center fielders in the early 1980s. 3-2 game, into the 4th. Here's Phil Mankowski, 1-8, hits the card again. Double 1 to 10 single. Harry Chapis, 56, off of the Hartzell card, double 1 to 5. Is a single dot dot. Runners in the corners, nobody out. You have to bring it up for Henderson and Murphy. They're both A-bunners. And walk and have speed and all that fun stuff. Runners in the corners. The infield is up for Ricky Henderson. 69 off Hartzell. Pops to short. Still up for Dwayne Murphy. 45 pops to second base. It's up now to Tony Armas to capitalize for the A's. The pitch to Tony. 3-5. Let's take a look at Tony Armas's card. His emergence. That famous 1980 Oakland outfield. One of the best defensive outfields we've ever seen. Henderson, Dwayne Murphy, and Tony Armas. Some of the best range of all outfields in baseball history. And Armas also hits 35 bombs with this card. 3-5, homer 1 to 10, fly ball the rest, and he rolls a 6, and that is bad news for your California Angels, folks. A 2-out, 3-run homer and a 1 to 10 roll for Tony Armas. And the Oaktown A's got a 6-2 lead here in Anaheim. Mitchell Page, 2-6, single 1 to 2, lines out. The Angels have to try and beat up on Wilbur Wood before the A's sneak him out of the game. They're down 4 in the 4th. It's Disco Dan Ford. 65 off of the Wood card. Homer 1 to 17. It is gone. They're counting outs, trying to get Wilbur a win. He needs 6 of them to qualify. It's 6-3. Tim Johnson. 1-6 is a K. Freddie Patek Philippe, 47. 1 to 19. They've hit it 3 times now. Base hit. Being held. Double A stealer. You're down 3 runs though, and you got this incredible beefy lineup coming up. The best offense in 1979 you can get. Downing, Jackson, Baylor, Lansford, and Grich. My goodness. So Patek will stay put at first with 1 out. And here is Brian Downing. 58 off of Wood is a pop to second. And with 2 outs, it's Ron Jackson. 67 off of the Wood is a walk. Oh boy. 2 on, 2 outs. And let's take a look at Don Baylor. Here he is, folks. Your 1979 American League most valuable player. One of the first designated hitters, even though he did play left field and first base, but primarily designated hitter. One of the first individuals to win the award at that position, which we didn't think was possible, but Baylor defied the odds. 296 average, 36 home runs, a bazillion stolen bases, 71 walks, 33 doubles. Clearly deserving of the award. 2 on, 2 outs. The pitch to Don Baylor. 3-6 is ball 4. The bases are loaded with 2 outs. It's Carney Lansford. 67 off of Wood is ball 4. We got a 6-4 game. The bases are still loaded with 2 outs for Bobby Grich. 5-10 off of Wood is a strikeout. My goodness. The inning's over, but it's 6-4 Oakland. In the 5th, Gene Tennis, 55. Double 1 to 8 off of the Hartzell card is a single. They cannot get any pitching, is Angels' problem now. They get some runs, they get some rallies, but then they turn it, give it right back up. Wayne Gross, 1-7. Let's look at Wayne Gross's card. Nice little player on the 1980 Oakland A's. First and third, 281 hitter, 14 home runs. Always had nice walks and power and things like that. 1-7, triple 1-3, single dot dot. That is a single dot dot. Now Hartzell is bad against lefties, so Garner could be his final batter. They're going to bring the infield up. Down 2 runs with runners on the corners. Phil Garner. 5-11. Walk, bases loaded, that's it. They're taking him. Quick hook. Hartzell was awful. In 4 innings and 3 batters, he put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 men on base. Is responsible for 6 runs plus 3 more base runners. You've got the lefty Minkowski, a switch hitter Chapis, Henderson, and a lefty Armas. And there really is nobody that fits the bill exactly for the Angels. They're going to go with their lefty, which is Lance Ralston. Will come on in the 5th inning here. It's a kind of a desperate move because they are down 0-2 in this series. You know, I know it's just a best of 5 series, but you have to try and win these and pull the stops, or else it's going to be a long season. So the lefty Ralston comes in. Minkowski will exit. We have our choice of third baseman who bat right-handed on the bench. We have Ted Martinez and we have Paul Dade. We are going to go with Mr. Ted Martinez. Let's take a look at old Ted. He played with the Mets, the Dodgers, the Reds. Great utility player. Nice pinch hitter. Always hit like 270, 280, 290 for a nice chunk of his short little career. It's 268 here in 79 with the Dodgers in this card. Ted Martinez. The bases are loaded. They are going to bring the infield up. You got Chapis up next anyway, who's also a bunter, so you may as well bring it up now anyway. The pitch to Ted Martinez. 5-12 off of Ralston is second X. You can get a 4-2-3 double play with the infield up. Second baseman is Bobby Grich, who's a 2-14, and he just did it. Bobby Grich guns it down to the plate. You get the 4, the 2, the 3 double play. Big move for the Anglers. And now you got runners on the corners with 2 outs. And it's Harry Chapis. He gets on enough. No reason to pinch hit for him. Pitch to Chapis. 2-8. Let's take a look at the Chapis card. Just a short little sample of him in 1978 and 75 at bats. One of those Bill Veeck guys. You know, I always wanted to have something sensational in Chicago, and you know, the smallest batter of all time back in the 50s. Forgot his name. And the smallest shortstop of all time. He was probably wearing shorts, maybe. During this at bat. 2-8, single 1-6 for Chapis, but he lines out on an 18 in Oakland. Blows that advantage. They blow it. You get nothing. Stays 6-4. And now we're trying to get a win for Wood. A Wood-Wilbur win with a 2-run lead in the 5th. And Billy Sample at the plate. Pitch. 69, 1-1, base hit. Boy, Mr. Wood, you are making it very hard to get a victory for yourself. Disco, Dan Ford. 3-6 is a 6-4-3 double play. And with 2 outs, it's Tim Johnson. 2-7 is a K. So Wood gets through 5, and heck, let's put it up there now. Get him out of there, folks. 6-4 into the 6th inning. Ralston's 2nd inning of relief. Magnificent. Wiggled his team out of a bases-loaded no-out jam to keep the series alive for him. Here's Ricky Henderson. 58, 2nd X. This is Grich again. A 2-14 makes the play. Dwayne Murphy, 58, is a bouncer to short. Shortstop is Patek, a 2-40. And he boots the ball. Tough break there. Do you take advantage and try a steal with Murphy against Downing? They're going to try a steal. And that didn't work. He just got gunned down. Try to do a little bit extra with that advantage, and it didn't work out. And with 2 outs is Tony Armas. His big 3-run homer in the 4th inning. There's a difference at this point. 57 is a K. 6-4 A's, bottom of the 6th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Wood is gone. Let's get the wood out there. We don't need the wood right now. Oakland's bullpen is, yeah, just sort of meh, yeah, something like that. And they're going to go to Rick Rhoden. It's another interesting case. Sometimes in this carryover league, when you're looking for relief pitchers, you actually find a pretty darn good starting pitcher sitting out there looking for work. And that's the case with Rhoden. He was actually a starter 6, relief 4, but no room in the Oakland rotation for another right-hander, so he's the long reliever. And Rhoden was pretty darn good. With the Dodgers in the 70s and then with the Pirates in the early 80s, he's 10-8 with a 3.65 ERA. In 165 innings, he's coming out of the Oakland bullpen, clearly better than the Wood Wilbur. Bottom of the 6th, top of the lineup, it'll be Freddie Patek. 1-9 is a walk. You got Brian Downing. 68 is a pop to second. Ron Jackson. 1-3 flies to right, and with 2 outs. Your MVP, Baylor. It's an interesting day. A K, a single, and a walk. The pitch to Don Baylor. 39 is a pop to second base. We'll go to the 7th inning. Ralston's given you 2. Page is left-handed. Gross is a lefty who doesn't hit lefties very well. We can run Ralston another inning because they're kind of desperate at this point. They're on the verge of being swept. So it will be Ralston against Mitchell Page, leading off in the 7th. 1-3 is hit by the pitch. That's not a good look. Now with Gene Tennis up, if you pitch to him, you may as well continue to pitch to Wayne Gross, or at least force Oakland to go to their bench. So they're going to pitch to Tennis. 5-10 is catcher's card. Downing's an E1 catcher, so that's a pass ball, unfortunately. So you have a runner at second, 1 out, and it's Wayne Gross, and the A's are thinking to themselves, you know, Gross is really, oh, they don't, well, you know, you could put, yeah, let's just put the pressure on. Let's pinch hit Jose Morales. Let's take a look at Jose Morales as a pinch hitter. 314 hitter for the Twins in 78. Jose Morales, he definitely invokes a pinch hitting experience here. So, Ralston leaves after 2 1/3. Base runner is his responsibility. Dyer Miller pitched in the last game, was not very good. There we go, Mark Clear this early. He's a relief 3. They are down in the series. Let's go Mark Clear. Why not, right? Mark Clear was your was your California Angel closer in 1980 and 70. 79 had a great year. 80, 11-11 with a 3.31 ERA. Mark Clear eventually pitched for the Red Sox. He's going to come on in the 7th. Try and slow this thing down a little bit. Jose Morales with a runner at first and 1 out. The pitch to Jose Morales. 1-4 is a 6-4-3 double play. Oh, it's not a double play. I forgot the pass ball. Almost missed that. It's a ground ball to short with a runner holding at second base. That pass ball is pretty big now. It would have been an inning any double play had Downing blocked that last pass ball. So Morales will take over at catcher, and Gene Tennis will play first base. He's actually better at first defensively than Gross. That's how they'll play that. And it'll be Phil Garner with a runner still at second base, but with 2 outs now. The pitch to Phil Garner. 68 off a clear is a walk. They had room for that base. That base was open. So it's first and second with 2 outs. And it's Ted Martinez, the third baseman. 69 is a K. Well, Oakland's got all its defense in and a 2-run lead, and it is stretch time in the 7th inning. We are enjoying listening to the Angels soundtrack. We got the Fleetwood Mac Tusk LP of 1979. And in the deluxe edition, you get 84 songs and about 5 hours of Fleetwood Mac. Oh boy. That'll keep you up all night. Tusk by Fleetwood Mac, 79, well within the timeline here. Of course, I think they were in Dodger Stadium with the USC marching band performing Tusk, as I recall, but a little bit different scenario now. Bottom of the 7th, it is 6-4. Rhoden going to continue So quality pitcher here into the 7th. All defense is in. Carney Lansford leads it off. 4-11 is a walk. He must be held on base. He's a B stealer. And now you got Bobby Grich. Grich has walked and struck out twice and made a nice little double play in the 5th inning defensively. He's your tie run. The pitch to Bobby Grich. 55 off road into the sky to right. Bill Sample. 67 is a pop to short, and with 2 outs, it's Disco Dan Ford. Let's take a look at Disco's card. Taking advantage of his ability to play center field as a 2, though he mostly was a corner outfield in this era. He's an Angel in 79 with 21 homers and a .290 batting average. Like I said, you had so many Angels with very similar stats. Grich, Downing, Lansford, Ford, Baylor. They just come at you with waves. They all hit about .290, every one of them. Of course, Downing at like .329. Probably the best offense in 79. Lost to Baltimore in the ALCS. And the pitch to Disco Dan Ford. 69 off of Rodin is a base hit in right field. Lansford will not make the final out at third base. You don't like to see that. And with 2 outs and 2 on, Tim Johnson is the batter as a lefty who hits lefties okay. And on the bench, it's only lefties who can't hit lefties. Molinaro is strictly a platoon. Harris is a platoon, as is Pocoroba, a switch hitter. So if you bring any of these clowns in, Oakland will bring in either Bob Lacey or Jamie Easterly. So you may as well let Tim Johnson bat now against the righty with 2 on and 2 outs. The pitch to Tim Johnson. 39 for Johnson is a single to center field, and that will invoke Lansford to try and score from second because he didn't go to third and make the final out. At second base, Lansford is a 16 runner, 17-18. He will run off of Henderson, and he scores, making it a 1-run game. Dan Ford, he does go to third on that throw. So it is 6-5, runners on the corners, and it's Freddie Patek. The pitch to Freddie. 1-4, double 1-19. He rolls a 20 and gets the single, but it is good enough to get the job done. A single ties the game, puts a runner at third, and we have a 6-6 tie with runners on the corners as Rick Rodin has run out of gas. He's a relief 4 though, so we might let him continue here. See if he can finish this inning at least. Brian Downing with 2 on and 2 outs. The pitch to Brian Downing. 6-11 off of Rodin is left X. This is the 2E6 in left field. That would be Mr. Dwayne Murphy, and he makes the catch. We got a 6-6 tie, folks, into the 8th inning. Mark Clear is a relief 3. He can go through the 9th inning here. Leading off is Harry Chapis. 2-5 base hit. Chapis have a nice day. 3rd hit. Now you got Henderson. Ricky Henderson. 56 is a K. Dwayne Murphy. 67 is single, 1-2-4, but he gets the single. A tough break there for Clear. Single on a 4 line out to short, so you have 2 on and 1 out. You have a righty here, Armish, you want to get out, and then the lefty Page could be a problem. But he'll pitch to Armis. 1st and 2nd. The pitch to Tony Armis. 53 is first C. 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. Now, do you just intentionally walk Mitchell Page, or concede that you probably will walk him anyway because you do that? The problem is, Gene Tennis will walk 100 and some times during the season. He had 105 walks and 463 at-bats, so you don't want to pitch to Gene Tennis with the bases loaded. It's going to be an RBI walk. So you either... They still have Paul Date on the bench if you bring in a lefty. Well, you don't have a lefty. So, tough situation for Clear. He does walk so many guys. I think you got to pitch to him. Page's batting average is down. You hit 377. This year he's only hitting 285. And we're going to pitch to him. 2 on, 2 outs. The pitch to Mitchell Page. 65 is a single to left field off the Clear card. That would have been a double against a righty. It's only a single to left field, and now we have to run Mr. Chapis. He is a 12, a 13, a 14 runner, but Bill Sample is a +1 arm, makes it a 15 shot. So we have to look here for a 15 or better. It's a 3, and Harry Chapis scoots around and scores. Dwayne Murphy goes to third on the throw. Angels take a 7-6 lead and clears second inning of relief. Tough break there. And now it's Gene Tennis. 1-4, Skies the center. Well, it's a 7-6 game. This is an opportunity to get Roden out of there. So he cannot lose. He gave you 2 innings. He can get the win. You've got Jackson, righty, 4 straight righties. And they're going to go to Dick Drago. Or do you go Easterly, the lefty here? Now they go Dick Drago. Dick Drago's going to come on in the 8th inning to battle some more righties. Jackson, Baylor, Lansford, and Gritch in the 8th of a 7-6 game. All defenses in for Oakland. The pitch to Ron Jackson. 2-10 is a liner to second. Don Baylor, 6-12, left B. He's not DHing, though he mostly would. Interestingly, had he been DHing, that would have injured Drago. But he's actually in the field. So that's kind of a weird result. And with 2 outs, it's Carney Lansford. 5'11", second X. Garner's very good. He's also as good as Gritch. He's a 2E18 second baseman. And Phil Garner makes the play. We'll go to the 9th. 7-6, Clear's going to finish it. 3rd inning and breaking inning. It'll be Jose Morales leading it off. 63, first X. This is Ron Jackson's a 3-9 at first base. Makes the play. Phil Garner. 2-6 is a base hit. Beast Stealer. +1 arm. Could do a hit and run here too. You didn't want to steal. Let's do a hit and run. I haven't done one of those in a while. Hit, run. Runner has to steal on a roll of a 7. The Beast stealing Garner. And a +1 arm catcher, but he's being held on base. And that means he's going to be thrown out by a whisker. Tough break for Oakland. They have had a hard time trying to extend this lead. They got 1 run in the 8th, but they had opportunities in the 5th, 7th, and now 9th innings. And with 2 outs, it's Harry Chapis. 39, flies to right. Bottom of the 9th, here in California, Dick Drago. I believe he used to pitch for the Angels and the Red Sox and the Orioles. And he's a Red Sox in 79 with a 10-6 record and a 3.03 ERA in 89 innings. The minute you try going to your bench for a lefty, Oakland counters with a lefty. So it's going to be Gritch, Sample, Ford, Tim Johnson, 3 straight righties. In the 9th of a 7-6 classic from California, Bobby Gritch leads it off. Here's the pitch. 2-5 for Bobby is a grounder to short. Now you got Bill Sample. 69 for Bill Sample off Drago. Skies to right field, and with 2 outs, it's Disco. Dan Ford needs a 1-7 to tie this thing up, or 5-4. The pitch to Disco. Dan Ford. 2-9 for Ford. Flies to left field, and the Oakland A's. And the American League West is really doing a heavy fade. Good news for Oakland. They're getting some wins, though it's probably too late in their dismal start to make it worth anything. And the Rangers and Mariners are now starting to think, hey, we could go to the playoffs. A 3-game sweep for the Oakland A's. A 7-6 victory. Wow. Clear does take the loss, surrendering the run in the 8th. He went 2 2/3. Pitched to Morales. A walk and a K in the 7th inning. 3 singles, a run and a K in the 8th. And a hit in the 9th. Lance Ralston. 2 1/3 innings, a walk, a K, and then he had the magnificent 5th inning stop. Hartzell taken off the hook for what should have been a loss. In 4 innings, it was 10 hits, and it was 6 runs that were all earned. Could have been a lot worse. 3 walks, didn't strike anybody out. Dick Drago actually gets the save, a 2-inning save, 6 up and down. Roden played his starter into a no decision, but collected a win himself with 3 hits, 2 runs, and 2 walks. No decision for Wilbur Wood, which is fine with Oakland because he's probably shouldn't even be in the league. It should be in retirement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits for the Wood Wilbur. The 4 runs, happily takes a no decision instead of a loss. 6 walks and 5 strikeouts. So Wilbur Wood did put 13 men on in 5 innings, got a no decision. 1-0-1-9, 0-1-0-9, 7-14, 6-10. 7-14, 6-10, 7-14, 6-10, 5-3, 8-5. Oh my gosh, the California Angels, you blew this game. So the A's put 19 men on base, and the Angels put 18 men on base, including 8 walks. But, yeah, not good news at all for the California Anglers. Of course, they still are good enough to beat up on the Rangers and Mariners on their remaining schedule and still sneak in and steal the division away from inferior talented teams. So there's no reason to erase the Angels. But let's look at the year-to-date numbers now. The A's, the winners of this series, are 7-12, but they're still in last place. They were 4-12. They were horrible. They're 7-12, hitting .286 with a .521 earned run average. Ricky Henderson has 15 stolen bases in 19 games. And that's about the highlight of that team. California's 9-12. .256 with a .489 ERA. Both of those are not going to get it done. Paul Hartzell's 0-4, plus that no decision. Ryan and Tanana are 7-2, so they got to, continue to go undefeated the rest of the season. Mark Clear, by the way, is 0-3, but he's only given up 3 runs in 12 innings, so that's some pretty bad luck for Mark Clear. The big bad Angel Bats aren't really doing it. They're only hitting .256. The top hit getter on the team is Baylor. He's 28 for 84. He's in .333, but just 4 homer and 9, count 'em, just 9 RBI. That's just not going to do it. You're not going to win the MVP doing that kind of thing. The league, the fall league now, 291 games in, an unsightly .437 team ERA, a .151 WHIP, and a .277 batting average allowed. This is a free swinging era. I might want to mention that you have 2 extra teams of data. Seattle and Toronto exist in this timeline, so you've got more players available to be drafted in the league, which means you get better offenses. And some of these offenses are pretty crazy this year, and you get a couple games where a team will score 18 or 19 runs, and that will always skew the overall hitting and pitching results. You can never get that correction you need. You can never get like 3 straight shutouts to correct for giving up 19 earned runs in 1 outing, and that's why you have this balloonish earned run average. Well, there it is, the Oakland A's, a team that tore their roster apart in the late 1970s, has actually played spoiler and are only a game behind the California Angels, who are supposed to be winning this division. And this division is up for grabs. They are 3 games under 500 is this division in the American League West. Congratulations, Oakland A's, for a 3-game sweep. Thanks for checking this out, folks. We'll see you next time.